Hey, guys. How are you?
Hello.
We're doing really well. We're really excited because we're just a couple of days away from the biggest wrestling event to come to this area in many, many, many years. And Dixie Carter, I think we need to thank you for that.
Well, we are very, very excited ourselves to get there. And, it's interesting. A lot of people have asked me why Jonesboro. And, we've never played there before. And when I sat there and looked at all the different buildings, that were available that day, it just kind of popped out to me. I know I had talked to, Sting about, his first time. I think that's the first time he considers himself ever truly officially wrestling was in Jonesboro. I don't believe he's been back since. Hogan has a similar type of story as, how long it's been. And I just thought, you know what? There's so much history in that area. We've never been there. It means a lot to, some of our icons on our roster. And, we just thought it would be a perfect time to come.
I can tell you by the response that we've had as a radio station, because we've done, we do all kinds of events around here. But this one just feels different, I think, because it has so many different aspects. When you have the nostalgia of Hogan, who still looks like Hulk Hogan, from when I was a kid, a guy I idolized, and then talking to Sting the other day, and this is something I didn't tell Sting because I didn't want to act like a goofball. But when we hung up the phone with Sting, I looked over at Lori, I said, that's pretty cool. Just to have those guys willing to come back to a place like Jonesboro.
He turned into a goofball after he hung up the phone.
Of course. That's great. Of course, that's good stuff. And you know what? He's excited to come there, too. I mean, he's just like, wow, I can't, it's been so long. And in my mind, he is doing his best work ever. I mean, he's so, showing these different depths and dimensions to his character. He's wrestling at such a high level. Very, very proud of what he's doing.
So why do you think now is the perfect time for TNA to go on the road? Because you've had opportunities in the past, and, the Impact Zone in Orlando was a great place for you. Why is now the perfect jumping off point?
It's really a business decision. It just came down to that, and you have to be able to financially go on the road. It costs a tremendous amount of money just one day. You're flying in a couple of hundred people from all over the country, and it's just a very expensive proposition. And I take the livelihood of our talent and staff very seriously. Every night I put my head down on my pillow, I'm thinking about those families and, being in business 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And, so I didn't want to make a decision that we weren't going to be able to back up with the right kind of success. So we just felt like, based upon a lot of different signals, a lot of different business things that were going on, now was the time that we needed to do it. And I think just based on, San Antonio right into Chicago and Jonesboro, I know is not going to let us down, and we're going to have a big week this week in ticket sales. I know it's the right decision.
What do you think for the people who have never seen a TNA event, especially a TV event? What is this experience going to be like when they walk into the Convocation Center on Thursday?
Well, the first thing, from the time you walk in to the time the bell rings and we go live, we want it to be fun. There's going to be great music, things going on. I'll be out on the floor. There'll just be a lot of things happening. You'll get to meet some people, and we want it to be like a party. I mean, we love for our fans to come and get loud and stand up and, really be a part of the show. So I think, it'll be great family entertainment, but it's also great fun for people of all ages, and I just think it's going to be a great time. The fans are just as much a part of the show, in our opinion, as what's going on in the ring.
So with your product, because we've talked to dozens of your talent over the course of the last number of weeks, pretty much every one of them has said they feel the product is superior to anything else out there. What do you think about that, and what do you think makes your product stand so far above the others?
Well, I think they're exactly right. I think part of it is just the outstanding wrestling itself. I think we have the best talent roster there is out there today, and these men and women are so passionate about what they do. They're not dialing it in, mailing it in on any night. It doesn't matter who's there. They're giving it their all, and I think what's going on inside the ring is phenomenal. I think the storytelling right now is better than anything we've ever done and better than anything that's out there today. And some of the production, elements that we're doing into the show, as far as how we're shooting it and the kind of the backstage, how you're seeing some things fly on the wall or TMZ style or just some stuff that looks like film quality. All of those are really unique to wrestling, and I think have helped transform our show.
You know, Dixie, there's a lot of things about all of this that intrigues me with TNA wrestling, but the knockouts, just getting to talk to them, I know.
That intrigues me too, Dixie.
Me in a different way. But okay.
I know.
Okay, so I've looked at a lot of these women, but in talking to them, they're not only beautiful, but they're very athletic, they're very powerful, they're smart, they're strong. How did you get this to play in? I mean, was this one of your ideas?
Well, you know, being a female head of a wrestling company, which I don't believe has happened before, I mean, the women's division is very important to me. And I just was extremely uncomfortable. And I'm not saying that we have not had moments or flashes of this in the past and was very uncomfortable with it. But we have made a huge conscious decision that our women are by far the best wrestlers in the world. And they are. They're beautiful and they're talented. And yes, they are sexy. And I think as long as we handle them with class and respect and they get out there and show their amazing athleticism, we're doing something no one else on this planet is doing with these women. And I'm very, very proud of them. But, you know, as a female head of a company, this is something that I take extra pride in, but also extra caution.
Well, being the female head of all of this company, are you ever intimidated working next to these men? I don't want to call them giants, but, you know, standing next to Matt Morgan and looking up, he's quite tall. Yeah,
he is truly a giant. I mean, there's several that are that size. You know, no, I'm not intimidated, and I think that, you know, it's not. I don't even think about it. Usually I'm in a meeting with 30 guys, and I may be the only female in the room, and it's just the way it is for me. And
well, that doesn't sound bad.
No, it's not bad.
Oh,
Believe
here we
me,
go.
I've got the greatest gig in the world. You know, we have so much fun, but I've got a great group of guys, and you know, I let everybody do their jobs, but I'm very involved in everything, and it's just we have a very, very good team.
So as we look at the talent roster, and I think you have a great talent roster, and it's deep, and you have guys that are, of course, the legends. You have guys who are the future legends. Can you name guys who would be the biggest stars 5 to 10 years from now, outside of, you know, the Hogans and Stings and Hardys and Angles? Who do you really see like really bright futures in?
Well, what I'm most excited about is the new guys that most people didn't know who they were when we started this company 10 years ago are just now coming into their prime. So really, these guys are the ones that are going to carry our company for the next 5 or 10 years. And that's the AJ Styles, the Bobby Roodes, the Austin Aries, the Samoa Joes, the James Storms, the Matt Morgans, and I could go on and on and on, the Hernandezes. I think that these guys are, you know, they have worked so hard to get to where they're at. And right now, you know, every single one of them have peaked at the right time, and it's very competitive between them. And then we have a whole group of younger guys up underneath them that are, you know, nipping at their heels. You know, the Magnuses of the world and the Robbie E's and Robbie T's, and you know, so it's the depth of our roster right now is unlike anything that we've ever had. And what I'm most proud of is, yes, we've got, to me, with Hogan and Sting, you've got the two greatest icons that you could ever want on your roster, but you've also got all of these original TNA guys that have, you know, come into their own and who are fantastic, and given, you know, the Kurt Angles and the Jeff Hardys and the RVDs of the world, you know, a run for their money.
So you grew up in Texas, right?
I did.
Okay, so I grew up in Texas. I was actually born in Irving, raised in Plano. So my whole life as a kid, I wanted to be Kerry Von Erich. That was my hero, world-class wrestling and sportatorium.
Yeah.
So tell me, you know, you were a wrestling fan back in the early 80s, I guess, and probably the days of the Von Erichs, and then kind of got away from it. What made you decide to jump back in? Because now you're the owner of a company.
A funny story. So I used to live in Las Colinas, which is Irving, right?
Yep.
Right next to Irving. And there was this blonde-headed guy I would always see in the parking lot. I just graduated from college. And one day he finally said, you know, he came up, said hello to me, and, you know, asked me what I did. And I could tell he wanted me to ask him, what do you do?
Right.
I said, so what do you do? He goes, I'm a professional wrestler. And I said, really? What's your name? Jeff Jarrett. I was like, really? Our apartments literally were right. Our entire wall ran along, same floor, same everything. What a small world.
That is weird.
You know, so yes, I watched with my brother when I was little. The Von Erichs were kind of the bomb in Dallas at the time, but I just got away from it. You know, I didn't like what was on TV. And then so many years later, fast forward. You know, I get this meeting, and they're like, yeah, this Jeff Jarrett guy. And I remember, like, one time watching Letterman or something and seeing him on there going, I guess he really was a real wrestler, you know. So it was just, it's funny. And I just, from that very first meeting, I said, Jeff, did you ever live in Dallas? He said, yes. I said, Las Colinas. He said, yes. And I told him the name of the place I lived. He goes, oh, my God, what did I do? And I said, you didn't do anything, but it's a very small world. And I think what you've got going on here is great, and I'm very lucky to be a part of it.
So I guess he's very lucky that you were nice to him back then, and that he was nice to you.
That's so funny. The long, flowing gold locks.
I actually have a picture of me and Jeff from when I'm thinking I was probably 10 or 11. I'll post that so you can look at it. But it's pretty funny because it was one of those things that I didn't send to Jeff for many, many years after the fact. But I was that guy who paid for the $5 Polaroid with Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, wow.
When you didn't know who he was, I was paying for Polaroids.
Get your money back this weekend.
Okay, so Thursday, we're a couple of days away. TNA Impact Wrestling at the ASU Convocation Center. You can still get select good tickets at tickets.astate.edu. And Dixie, we can't wait to see you on Thursday.
Just to let you know, we've opened up some great new production tickets that have been held. So there are still some really good seats that have just become available, and there's a lot of really good, affordable seats as well. So, it's about the same price to take your family out to a movie, and you can come and be on television. We're going to tape 4 great hours and 3 hours there, and we are going to have a great time. Cannot wait to get there.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for everything. Jonesboro, we cannot wait to see you.